Welcome to another episode of Total R&B, where we talk about all things R&B. And you guys, I'm super excited because I have someone on the show who I am a fan of. I actually look up to this person. He's doing almost everything that I want to do. So it's pretty dope that I get to interview him. He is a multi-hyphenate talented human being. Okay. So he's an entrepreneur. He has his brands, Urban Fierce, My Fierce Wing Radio, On Air with David Duane. So, yes, he is a media personality and he's interviewed all of our favorite singers, actors, and more. Like the amount of stuff that he's done in his lifetime so far has been pretty amazing. And now he's a recording artist. Like, what can't he do, basically? So, welcome to the podcast, Mr. David Duane. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course. Listen, thank you for that amazing intro. Thank you always for the support. I'm so glad to be talking about it all on Total R&B because it's R&B with this project. My whole life is R&B, so it feels really good to be a part of this space. So thank you again.
Of course, thank you for all the work that you do in the industry behind the scenes. And now you're giving us a peek into another side of you with this upcoming album, Unapologetic Blonde, which comes out on July 21st. So we're super excited to be getting this. So I do want to start off the show by asking a question I always ask my first time guests when they're on here. If you can give us your first memory of R&B. So what moment comes to mind?
R&B, I always think about Bad Boy. Like Bad Boy is such a part of my life. I've worked with a lot of artists that were signed to Bad Boy or were on making the band and stuff like that. So I always think about just that 90s times. And then I just think about TLC, the Fan Mail album. That was one of the albums that I had on a cassette tape. I can't wait to actually start doing performances because I'll actually perform in No Scrubs and do a cover to that and doing the choreography, the original choreography.
Okay.
I just have such a love for R&B in the 90s to the 2000s. A lot of the album was very much heavily inspired by R&B during that time. So man, I'm just so excited. When I think about that time, I'm just like, wow, that was just so dope. R&B of today's time is great, but the 90s.
Yeah, there's nothing like the 90s. So thank you for taking us down that memory lane. Of course, Bad Boy is a big thing. We had the BET Awards that just gave Diddy Billboard. We got to see some of our favorites come and perform again, which was really nice. And then TLC is a classic. We always love them. So yeah, those are some dope memories. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Yes. So sorry.
I said we got to remind the kids of our favorites from back in the day versus always new ones. I love all the new guys and the new girls. There's so many of them to name, but I love them all.
No, definitely. And they need to receive their flowers. So that was dope. Thank you so much for reminding us of the greats that we grew up on. But now I want to get into what you're doing because you have Unapologetic Blonde, the album, but you did release like a teaser, the Blonde Prelude. So you released that a couple of weeks ago. Yes. So there was 3 tracks on there. Loving Me Wrong, Always Think About You, and Nah Nah Nah.
Yes.
So how was it? Because that was like the first body of work that you gave us. So what was the response that you received from that?
Wow. So the response was actually quite good. I was surprised because when I first put out an ounce of music back in 2012, 2013, it didn't get the response that it was meant to give. The mix and mastering was not giving. The photo shoots was not giving. The graphic design was not giving. Everything was not giving. The music videos just wasn't it. And I knew that while building my brands, being David Duane, of course, really establishing that brand, and then On Air with David Duane, have changed the name to that from the initial name, which was Biz with D, and then Urban Fierce becoming Urban Fierce Group and stuff like that, originally coming from Fierce Wings Entertainment because I had this whole Fierce thing going on. And I was like, you know what? Let's just establish these brands and these companies for what they are meant to be and utilize them to get me to the next. Now that I think that it would bring me to 2021, being in the mall in LA, supposed to be a lens crafter, but I went to the wrong damn place. And I was like, you know what? Let's just post a snippet of me singing. And it started with, I just want to fall in love. People were surprised. They were like, oh my gosh. Like, and when I go back to the clip, I'm like, it sounds okay. But of course, with time, you get better, of course.
Of
And
course.
I was like, whoa, just the response. And it was just literally the other day. I'm like scrolling. I'm like, the fact that people responded to that, put the song out, because that was a re-release. And then Love and Wayne on Us was a re-release as well too. But then once I got to Love Me Wrong, which is a more personable song that is about my life for real. And then Nah Nah Nah, which is another re-release as well. Because I was like, let me just give a nice mixture with how we're doing this. Let's re-record the songs, really get it mixed and mastered, let's have the right graphic design going. And let's most importantly, give it the attention that it deserves. I had some troubles going along, promoting it along the way, but now with the album finally out, we've been able to really make sure that we have certain assets, make sure that we have visuals, visualizers and stuff like that. So we've got visualizers that we put out for Nah Nah Nah, Always Think About You, Love Me Wrong, Beyond the Lights, Want to Know It, On My Mind. And like, I've been so excited just being able to give a tease even before the project came out, because it's just so important to just kind of like open up a little bit more personable and have like those different content videos that I've been having where it's me in the studio and I'm talking about the song and I'm really giving a breakdown and I'm giving a full scope and even talking a little bit in the caption, even though I try to let the videos do most of the talking.
Yeah.
The caption, because we know I can talk and I can type a mile a day. So it was to get back to the main question, it was definitely, and it has been so dope just seeing people respond overall, because I'm not a natural born singer at all by any means. I don't claim to be, I never will claim to be, but seeing the hard work finally pay off and then seeing the support from people that I don't even know is what I have been wanting the most. Because it's cool when you got the support from the people that know you, but people that don't know you personally, I mean, it just hits differently. That's when you know you've done something right.
So with all the support that you're receiving, like, what do you want your fans to take away from this album?
I want people to take away that I'm just like them.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if they are a man, woman, gay, straight, whatever walk of life that they're in, I'm just like them. I think that there's this big misconception that being in the music or entertainment industry, right, that we aren't like the next person. So that we all have struggles, highs and lows, pain, redemption that we are going through. And that's honestly what Unapologetic Blonde represents. It's a representation actually of all those things. And I thought about so many different people in mind. It's mainly based on my life, but I had some other stories on the album, 22 songs. And I know people are like, wow, you got 22 songs on this damn album, but it's like,
listen, I was like, he Chris Browned us with that one.
I kind of did. And it's so crazy when we think about it, like that's the first, the first thought that comes to mind, but it is the debut and it is the final. Like I wanted to be able to tell the story really well. And if I do decide to come back to do a deluxe or do a second or a third, so that there's room to come back.
Okay. Yeah.
But I wanted to just place it right there. So it's like, whoa, you went out with a bang, but you can follow up to this. And I think that's the most important thing with projects. You don't want to give too much, but you want to give just enough. I tried cutting the track list down as much as possible. You heard the initial project, and there were songs like Legendary that was supposed to be on there, and Stay Warm, and Stay Warm is on there. And shout outs to Party. He did Stay Warm and Rounds. Love those songs. But there was like other songs like Bedroom and Sex Cardio that people don't even know. They may not hear it. Who's to say who's to know? But I mean, it's a process. be put yourself out there.
But tell me about the process. So, what was the creative process with creating this album? Because again, I know you from doing interviews, from working behind the scenes with artists. So, this is my first time seeing you as, David doing the artist. So, what
Right.
was that like creating this album?
So creating this album was really 12 years in the making. 12 years in the making. So a lot of stuff like I Just Want to Fall in Love Won't Wait on Us, Nah Nah Nah, like I said, are from the previous catalog. So that's why I wanted to really work them into this full body of work. And I got in with Aria, who is my amazing co-collaborator. We met, funny enough, I had booked a session at Ultrium in LA, which is the producer Yanni's studio. And I came in and I was like, it's a female engineer. I was like, this is dope. I thought it was somebody that just happened to work there. And I was like, okay, but wait, she's dope. We need more female engineers. Shout outs to the ladies. I love y'all. Y'all were so kept in mind during this whole entire project. It's not even funny, but we'll talk about that even further as we get along. And we just vibed. And from working in the studio, just to cut the records that I had already written, we moved on from there. I had started recording at her place, and then to her having a studio. Like, she's so congratulations, so proud of you, Aria. And we started to get the writing on Always Think About You. Like, I heard her start to like hum things. I'm like, what you thinking? And I was like, don't hold back over there. Like, if you got something, bring it. So since April, we really have been just going in, even to the stuff that is not even out. I don't know where it will lie, but to the unreleased vault, I mean, there's some fire that was created, and it was just like the chemistry was so there. I came into the studio, I had titles, like I literally had like titles of songs and concepts and hella production. And I had production from my boy Jay Kicks, who is so freaking phenomenal. I was glad that I was able to work with him because I've known him for years before people really got into his dopeness as a producer.
Okay.
And before people could get into my dopeness as an artist. And he just had this production that sounded live and that was just very like there. And I was like, Jay, I'm like, bro, I got some stuff. I know you sent me these tracks and stuff like that, but I'm going to get to them. Like, I'm going to work you into this project because I'm always about staying loyal to those who've been loyal to me, especially people who know that you've wanted a dream for so long, who wanted to see it through. So when I finally got a chance to get to Jay's production, and I appreciate Jay so much because between his production and then Styles, which is a producer that works with him, they really glued the project together. And Jay has said it like that to me before in text message. And I was like, you know what? Y'all really did give the glue to this project. And it just really went with Mighty's production, with Yanni's production, with Chris, who's my longtime producer and collaborator, and then Kristen Teep. So then everything came together. And then towards the end, we got Always On My Mind, which is produced by Alvin Rise, who is freaking incredible. On My Mind is like my top favorite. But again, we'll get into all of that. It was such a great process, and it's been amazing to be able to record, to vocal produce myself, to arrange, to keep things simple, to know when things are too much or we need to hear things a little bit more. We need to take out certain ad libs or ad lib towards the second half of the song, and not so much harmonies. We keep the harmonies very there and keep it consistent because it is an R&B album, but it is with elements of pop, elements of hip hop. We've got a nice inspirational record called Save Us that Mighty produced, that I wrote with Aria, and it was so quick. The writing with that was so quick. On My Mind was so quick.
So, okay, so this seems like, even though, being an artist, there's always ups and downs, but it seems that you found like a really solid team and you guys all trust each other. So it made the process not only easy, but also fun for you, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I have to shout out Rio and Gab. They wrote Love Me Wrong for me, and they wrote my whole entire life. And during the process of recording the album, they really kept me grounded. They kept me motivated, aside from my mom. And then one of my close friends, Alan Michael, who's a phenomenal artist who you guys have to check out. He is like R&B, but he's got this alternative sound that's like dance. He's so badass. And honestly, keeping a really good circle. And then my friend Tiki as well, that really kept me balanced because I was really going through a lot during the process of recording and finishing. There were delays in the beginning. In January, I had COVID. I was supposed to have a whole release, a listening event, and I'm finally getting a chance to get to the events and perform and stuff like that, and actually popping out and being around. So it took a lot. It was a lot of mental health that needed to be checked, a lot of depression. That's what Breaking Point is actually about. It's about being to your limit and being, like, in pressure being on your mind and going through the motions and not even knowing if you're going to survive because you just feel like you're at that point of like, oh my gosh. Because before this album even came out, I was literally, and I am not afraid to say this at all, was at the point where I wanted to commit suicide. So I had to also move from downtown LA to move into a much more safer environment where I would at least have solid ground. I've got some levels on me, okay, in the building, but I needed to feel like I was safe during finishing this process because mentally I was thrown. There was a lot of crazy stuff, but you know, it's life, it's the reality. So I feel like this album really is so relatable because there are those moments in the album where you have to talk about that. You talk about depression, you talk about self-accountability, you know, big things that men don't address in R&B.
That's what I was gonna say. So thank you so much for being open to actually sharing that even on the podcast, because I know sometimes it might be easier sharing something in a song than actually speaking to someone and saying exactly what it is you're going through. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. But that's a thing that I do like and appreciate about this album is that you're so open, you're vulnerable, and you're talking about things and situations that you've been through that many of us have gone through as well, but we might feel shame or guilt or too embarrassed to talk about it, especially men in the Black community. So thank you for putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, starting these conversations and making great music at the same time. So
thank you. It's important to have these conversations as men, as Black men, to really be open to talk about these things that are going on because there's so many misconceptions in so many different scenarios, right? But if the conversation isn't started, how do we know that it exists in one's life? I feel like with music, a message should always be carried through. There should be some consistency, like a consistent base, right? Whatever that message is for the next man, the next woman, see it all the way through, but make sure that it's relatable to your life and that your listener is able to connect best with that. So whatever that is, you know, I don't want to start even naming stuff because somebody can say, but I can relate to that, but I can't. So, you know, people have different walks of life. So I'm always big on the fact of, will this person be able to relate? Can their sister relate? Can their mom relate? Can their dad relate? It's all about relatability.
and also too, maybe they don't connect immediately, but
Right.
maybe later on because we're always growing and changing and experiencing different things. So maybe they don't connect to a certain song, but maybe they'll listen back to the album and be like, this is exactly what I'm going through right now. And
Right.
that music will help them get through the situation or, you know, start the healing process by hearing someone going through the same thing that they're currently going through. So yeah, definitely. And did that help also in the creative process, like talking, I guess, maybe amongst the writers and producers to coming up
It
with these songs?
did. It really did, especially with like Never Alone, because
Mhm.
that's definitely a song for the women that's basically like, you don't have to put yourself in a relationship where you're not valued. You know, it's so, so, so important to have these conversations in records and just being able to, because I have so many friends that feel like they have to choose a man or they have to choose a woman. You don't have to choose someone who is not choosing you and
Mhm.
putting you as a priority. there has to be a mutual sense. So I felt very much relieved with self accountability, never alone, and breaking point. I was like, that was it. I'm looking at the track listing right now to think if there was anything else that just really gave me that satisfaction like those. But it definitely was that for that topic matter.
Okay. And then what about performing? Because you did mention that you have some performances coming up, which is exciting. So, what tracks, looking at the track list, what tracks are you most excited about performing in front of an audience?
I'm excited for Beyond the Lights and Want to Know because those are my upbeat records, very mid tempo, depending on the song. Upbeat is more so Beyond the Lights, mid tempo is Want to Know. It's very badass. It really just shows my personality.
Are you giving choreography? Is there some dance
Oh
moves?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was really in my bag when it came to working on the choreography. So I choreographed some of it, and then the other half, some portions. Mainly Mitchell Kelly did the choreography with me, but I did the creative overall, and just had this vision, just to really to start off the show very high energy, bring you down and get very connecting and stuff like that, even with Never Alone. I don't do that on a stool or a chair at all. I actually do that kneeling down and
Oh, okay.
connecting with the audience to really connect and look in their face and stuff like that. Say You Love Me No More, those songs, and Why Apologize, and Let Me Cheat on You is more so that mic stand moment where you just kind of like you engage with the crowd. Being a performer and having that performer experience from taking dance classes as a child. I know that it's so important to be able to perform, look people in the eye, and give them that connection that they feel like, wow, he's talking to me, he's speaking to my soul. I can relate to this because my sister, my brother, it all goes back to relatability. So I love performing these songs. Always Think About You is such a groove because it goes right before I Just Want to Fall in Love. And I Just Want to Fall in Love already had that live sound on the reproduction. So it's so different from the original when people like really dive into the project. They're like, wait a minute, this is not what was it was given in February, but I don't want it to give what it gave. You go back and you listen to things, even Love Me Wrong, not Love Me Wrong, I'm sorry. Love Won't Wait on Us has an updated mix and master. It's got some more harmonies, and it's just beautiful. And it feels really good to finally be able to say, wow, I look forward to perform. I look forward to keeping this going and just this see what happens. Cause, I might end up becoming a touring artist and maybe more music does come. We just gotta put it all into God's hand and just if you guys love it, download and support, and then tell your friend to tell a friend. And then that's going to keep the wave going of
Of
unapologetic
course,
blind.
of course. So, yes, July 21st, we're all gonna be checking out the album. We're gonna be, purchasing, streaming, all those things to support you. You did say that as a kid, you did take dance classes. So, like, what type of dance classes did you take as a kid?
For sure. So modern jazz, ballet, hip hop, and tap. I did 1 year of tap. But my favorite is jazz and ballet. And I
Let me
actually
tell
want to
you
get into
something.
some. Did you take classes as well?
Yes. All the classes you
Oh,
named, I took those too.
come on. I love that for
So
you.
crazy. But yeah, exact same thing. Hip hop, jazz, ballet. I took ballet like forever and tap as well. I even like before the pandemic, I went back and it's so crazy that I remembered like all of the dance steps.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to get into some songs.
Yes, please.
So there are a few songs I've highlighted here and I want to get, your take on them, like what it took to, get the song
I want
together.
to get your take on them, and then I'll dive in from there because
Okay.
you've dived into this album for real.
Yes, I have. So, of course, I've told you before, one of my faves is Beyond the Lights because it's such a story that so many people gone through in different ways, but I
Yeah,
just think it's a beautiful song. So,
you.
one of the things that you did say in the song is, I made it through the storm and it made me stronger. So, which I like, because so many of us go through so many ups and downs, and we don't quit, we don't give up. We
Right.
keep going, we learn from the situation, it makes us stronger, and we keep going and we keep leveling up. So, that's one of my favorites on there. So,
Thank you.
happy that it's still there.
Yes.
So, let us know about this song. What is your take on the song? How did it come together?
Yeah. So, like I told you before, the song is about honestly being beyond the lights, being beyond what people perceive you to be in any facet of life. You know, it's beyond the glasses, it's beyond foundation and a nice haircut and looking good, smelling good. It's beyond the outer, because the inner is what's most important. You can look as good as you want to, friend, but stuff like, but if your inner don't match your outer, if your inner vibration does not rise your outer, it doesn't matter. It's like none and void. And I wrote the song because I was saying this thing, and I was like, beyond the beat, beyond the beat, beyond the beat. And I was like, I don't want to say beyond the beat, because I don't want people to get the wrong perception about who I am as a person, which, you know, people are always going to do that. I don't care. But I was like, I don't want that to be the narrative for that song. And I don't want anybody asking any underlining questions whatsoever. So I was like, let's do this beyond the lights. Because when I do interviews, there are lights. When you perform, there are lights on stage. And I was like, let me just talk about it. In the second verse, I really got deep, and I was like, these dudes left me stranded, but they want credit. So what they think is really going on. Talking about a real life situation of working with some previous clients where there was verbal abuse, practically to the point of physical abuse. And you grow from that. You forgive yourself for putting yourselves in situations that provoke these things to happen, and you forgive those individuals. But I never for one wanted to not be honest on this album as much as possible, because there's a lot of things that go on behind the lights. Right. So I needed to be honest, especially with that being the first song, and then bringing nah nah nah, and just really give that energy, like wake people up. First of all, vocally, I sound bomb on this record. If I had to say like top records of where I sound bomb, aside from the records where I'm singing in a high octave, which I slide on, you know, and I have to like pat myself on the back and pat Aria on the back too, and give us credit where it's due, because Beyond the Lights was recorded enough times just to get it perfect. So the final version that y'all hear is like the most recent vocals, because I was like, I needed to do it like this, because I switched it up. It was like da, 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 da. I was like this, and then I was like, and then I was like, you know what? Let's not give that. Let's give it back to what it needs to be. Let's give it real forward. Let's give it real, real masculine vibes, and let the shit, just flow out the way it needs to.
I love that. And another one is Say You Love Me. So I like the line, haven't I showed you that I'm worthy? Because I feel like that's a big one when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. Say You Love Me, and I have to pair Say You Love Me with If You and On My Mind, because it is about the new possibilities. You know what I'm saying? And I've just been so forward with this person, and they know that I don't know if they know On My Mind is about them. They know that Say You Love Me and If You is about them, because you just meet people in life that are so dope, and you're like, yo, just let's take a chance. I'm always about establishing a good friendship first, really getting to know a person. I don't want to date somebody or say I'm in a relationship on a romantic side if we don't know each other, we don't hang out, we don't communicate. Communication is so big And I take pride in that. So when me and Ari said that, I was like, look, this is the track. This is this one. This is this one. And on my mind was written last, but Jay Kicks and Styles did Say You Love Me. And I was literally texting Jay and I was like, so bro, I have these titles and Say You Love Me was one. Mother's Love was actually on there because I wanted to do a song for my mom on the album, but I didn't get a chance to do that for this. So maybe in the near future, we got to see what's down the line. I don't want to say anything that may not happen or may happen. You know what I'm saying? Got to leave things up for interpretation. So I was like, okay, I was thinking that, I was hearing it. And then I heard the production. I was like, is this long? Like, do you have a longer version? He was like, no, I don't think I have one, but see if your engineer can, make it longer. So he came back. He was like, I was able to find one. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then I told him once we had really got into the writing, I said, I need a bridge. Because with R&B, bridges
talk about it
there. If your R&B record does not have a bridge, if your R&B record does not have a pre, if your R&B record doesn't have an outro,
let them know, because a lot of these songs don't have any of those.
And if we're talking about the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, these songs have that. When you go back through your favorites, whether it's a Brandy, a Whitney Houston, a Donnell Jones, a 112, 702, anybody, I can name them all. And shout outs to those amazing artists because I look up to them. SWV, Missy Elliott. Y'all can say that Missy Elliott is a hip hop artist, but she is definitely
She can sing
of R&B, and she sings down. She will eat, and she eats, and she ain't no one to compete with either. I love Missy. Even little Kim, she can sing too. Kim but she don't give us those vocals often when she drops records. But when you listen,
who they don't talk about too? Ooh. And this person I love. Like, if ever I meet her, like, I'm gonna go crazy. And usually with celebrities, I'm just like, it's cool.
What you about to say?
Queen Latifah.
I mean, like, up, down, side to side. Like,
she's mopping the floor with everybody.
Yeah, and then with her with the acting, oh, get out of here. Y'all are swept.
But a lot of people don't talk about, like, she could really sing. Like, yeah.
Her vocals. just thinking about it in my head. Wow, she's incredible. And so long story short, I was like, we gotta finish this the right way. And then Styles did If You. And I was like, bro, like, this shit is sick. So me and Ari were like, let's add a pad in there during that hook. Cause baby, if you put it down on me, give me what I want, this could be. And we really mixed those octaves. And that was the most fun part with these last records, was really playing with the octaves. Cause fun fact, the songs that are written, that are sung in the high mainly, were written in low octaves. And so those songs that were sung in the low octaves were actually written in high octaves.
Good to know. I would have never guessed. Never.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah. And then On My Mind, Alvin did that record, and I was just like, I just wanted something bright and exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just in such a good place in my life, despite the craziness that people don't know, on the scene, that's going on behind the scene. I really feel good. And when you feel good, you want to express the brightness. So when we wrote On My Mind, I felt the same exact way when we did Always Think About You. And when I wrote I Just Want to Fall in Love Part 2. Because I was just like, I just want to be happy. I don't want to cuss anybody out. I don't want that energy. I just really want good vibes. I want to be able to really bring this album out and give it what it's supposed to give. But I love the fact that you love Say You Love Me, because that's a fun one to perform.
Yeah, no, I do like that one. And then another one that is a favorite that so many people can relate to is Let Me Cheat on You. Let's get into that one because that one is like the revenge song. Like somebody hurts you, you want to hurt them back. Like,
Yeah.
tit for tat. So talk about it. How did this come about?
So Let Me Cheat on You was another one from Jake Higgs on the
Okay.
production. And like again, my list had, even like with Why Apologize, like it was like apology, it was like Let Me Cheat on You. Like I had like this list is crazy. And then I have another list as well too that I can't locate, which I gotta find it because it's like hundreds of titles. Like
Wow. Okay.
hundreds. So I write from the titles in mind, and then I say, does this sound like this? Does this sound like that? And again, with the women in mind, I wrote Let Me Cheat on You. However, women, y'all been switching up lately. Y'all been the cheaters and the manipulators. But I wrote it in a place where the women could relate.
Okay.
So it was written from the perspective of a woman, but sung as a male. You know what I'm saying? Because even when the second verse, I see old girl and she wanna be stuck on you. It's right there. It's literally right there. And I think people will actually gloss over that line until they actually have heard me just say what I just said.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
It'll probably take a few listens for them to catch everything. I think
Right.
that's gonna be through all the songs as well because they were, like, well written, all of the songs, right? So I think it's gonna be, like, one of those where you gotta listen to it a couple of times and be like, "Wait, did he just say?" And then, rewind the track a little bit. So, yeah.
So much forwardness in these lyrics. And it's like so many things are literally right there. And I wanted it to be very honest within the lyrics and give people answers to their questions because people always have questions and I always don't give an answer to what they want.
Mm.
So I'm like, let me just put it in the music. If you had any wonders, any doubts about this, that, and the third, it's right there. Listen, pay attention to these titles, people. These titles are critical.
Alright, and then another one too, let me see here. Oh, yeah. Love Me Wrong.
Whoo, love me wrong.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you, when you hear Love Me Wrong, what is that feeling that you personally get from Hear Love Me Wrong? And what artists in what time, whether it be the 80s or the 90s or 2000s, does it give you?
Um, I think it could be anywhere from, like, late '90s, early 2000s for
Mm,
me, and it's just a song, like it's just I don't I'm trying to find my words now. Dang. Um,
on the spot.
right? Um, like, just someone who, like, just is not putting their all into the relationship like maybe you are or you want them to. So,
Yeah.
like, being someone's secret, not being appreciated, like, always just I guess we're on 2 different pages type of thing.
Yeah. Very
So,
much.
yeah.
And that's exactly what it was about. Being a secret and not wanting that to be a secret anymore. It's
Mhm.
very challenging when you have to hide a relationship. I do well with secrets and holding that. But people, I'm just like, whoo, y'all really be out here married on the low, hiding, and just in relationships on the low, hiding. And I think that there is a level of keeping things private, which I'm cool with,
Yeah.
but secret is very different. And I just got tired of being in this situationship on and off for 3 years and just, you know, just being this person's secret. We connected back after not speaking when the pandemic had happened, circled back in December of 2021. So 9 months had went by and we had not spoke. And then things just go so sour. And it's so crazy that things happen in your life where you just get inspired. And I told the situation to Rio, and then he told it to Gab, and then they just, and then that damn Chris and T, let me tell you something, they are cold when it comes to the production. And this literally was my Whitney Houston, I Have Nothing, because it's big.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
big. That was the initial inspiration, because I said, that's that record for me. I said, this is a big record. This is the record that we eventually at some point will take this record to radio. I do believe in the aspect of radio, and we will be working the video. You know, I can't say to where and whom, but if you see the video work that I've done before and stuff like that, you know that it's going to be on a great promotional scale. And I'm looking forward to it because it's such a reality record. We've all been loved wrong. If we haven't been loved wrong and been in a relationship, we gotta start loving somebody else wrong so that we can relate. You know what I'm saying? Not to encourage that type of mentality, but it's there's so much vulnerability in that, and there's so much power in performing that song. And I know that's going to be a song that I'm going to have to perform forever and never and never and never and never and never and never. And I'm just so grateful because I was not sure how people were going to react.
Okay. But yeah, that's another one of like my faves. Like that. And then I like what you said too. There's a difference between secret and private. So yeah, I think a lot of times too, people were looking at like Beyonce and Jay-Z and how private they were and was trying to like mimic that, but then took it a little too far.
Too far. People
Yeah.
don't know where too much is too much, and there's not that mutual communication.
Yeah, like you said, communication is really important.
Yeah, you have to communicate. You have to tell the person it's like this, or and it's like this on your end, and this is how we can come together and do this. It shouldn't be, oh, well, here's the ultimatum and blah, 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 blah. The ultimatum should be thrown when you guys can't get on the same page, and y'all were at one point, and stuff is not, things cannot be worked out. And it's just not going to work. That's when the ultimatum should be thrown. But relationships are very salvageable. People just choose to do what they want to do. So in that situation of Love Me Wrong, I hope the person that Love Me Wrong is actually watching. I had tried. I drove, and this is being personal, but I love having a moment to do interviews and really connect with people that support me, that know me for real, and stuff like that, and to get personal, because other interviews I can't get this candidate at all. I tell my mom, it's like, look, you got to know the time and place to have these conversations. You can't be shooting all your stuff in the wrong platforms.
Yeah.
I can say from that situation, what I did was I tried until the very, 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 very end. But my advice to anybody that's in a situation that is not established to what it is, never go through somebody mistreating you, manipulating, being a manipulator, and lying to you time after time. Somebody can love you, but here goes the thing. Are they willing to do the self-work to love themselves? So don't necessarily think that they may not love you, because if they say it, they probably do. Some people don't, and they just say it. But let me tell you something. If you don't do self-work, it's over. And there wasn't enough self-work going on in that situation for me. So I had to hold myself accountable for this situation going the way that it did, and being so open, being so vulnerable, but because it started so different and it was so cool and it was so nice. Yeah, that's cool, that's cute, that's great, David. That's cute friends and stuff like that are going through that current situation right now. But you have to put your foot down and say, I'm not doing this.
I totally agree.
You know, like
Totally agree.
being a secret, being on and off, and there's nothing there, nothing really truly established for 3 years. Oh no. There are people doing it for 5 years, and
Yeah.
I don't get that, but I do get it because the feeling of love is so real.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure with the album we really stood 10 toes down on the expression of love, but being very vulnerable and being very honest with the other topics at hand.
I love that. That was a word and a half right there. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Another question I wanted to ask you too, because you mentioned her throughout the interview, is your mom.
Yes.
So, how does she feel about this album with all the songs that you put on there, putting yourself out there, being creative, being vulnerable? Like, how's she feeling about it?
She loved it. At first, there's actually a lot of songs that she did not hear.
Okay.
Because of the explicitness.
Mm-hmm.
She did not, she heard All Night. I believe I'm trying to think, have you ever had it like this before? Got your leg. What song is that? Stay Warm. She heard Stay Warm. I had to sing the song to remember.
Okay.
And then I had to really be a little bit on the appropriate side and stop sending certain songs that were just too much. I did send If You, because If You is very like risky to send.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I have nothing to hide. You're going to hear it eventually. You're going to download. You're going to stream, which my mom does all the time. Like I'll be talking to her and she'll be listening to Why I Apologize and be like, girl, like I get it.
Proud. I love that.
Yeah. So there definitely was some songs that she did not hear. She did not like On My Mind at first.
Okay.
It had to
grow. Honesty.
Yeah, it had to grow. She preferred a different song over that one, but that song that I was mentioning, Turn the Page, is actually a song that I have tucked from my writing catalog because I'm doing a lot of songwriting now too. So I'm working on that. And then there's some other things brewing as well too. But being a songwriter is always something that I've wanted to do. So that's what that was for and stuff like that. And I'm like, look, that's for that. But this is what it is.
Love that. Okay,
but I always think about you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I love that she's so supportive and that she loves what you're doing, the music that you're putting out there. And that's always great when you have your parents that are, proud of what you're doing and supporting you. So I think that is a beautiful thing. I do want to play some R&B trivia.
Let's go. Let's hope I know what this game is hitting for.
Man, you do know. Don't worry. You definitely know. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 6 questions. So we'll see how you do out of the 6. So the first question is, what is the name of TLC's second studio album?
Second, oh my gosh. Crazy Sexy Cool?
Boom, you got it.
Because I was a member of TLC. And shout outs to my boy, Mike River, who has given me that recognition because he knows that I was the 4th member of TLC.
Well, there you go. So you got that right. So moving on to the second question. Which R&B artist had the internet going crazy over the statement that he's the king of R&B?
Oh, it's funny that you were about to say this because I was actually thinking about his crazy ass Jacquees. Like, absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not. Does he even do R&B? Realistically,
Um, okay, to be honest, I haven't listened to a full Jacquees album, so I can't really I can't really answer that fully, but I would say that he is R&B.
Mm.
I
But
I
you have,
would say
you
that, but
have
I
no
wouldn't
hair.
say he's the king.
Oh no.
I
We
think that was just a great statement for him to say to get eyes on him and for people to pay attention to his music.
for sure. For clickbait, and we know who the king of R&B is. Y'all cannot want to mention him, and it's so unfortunate to see where his life has turned, and just this legacy is just won't be able to continue. And that's R. Kelly. Say what you want, but Robert Kelly can write a damn song and
Yep,
produce a song. He produced one of my favorite songs by Britney Spears called Outrageous, which is on her In the Zone album.
definitely. Okay, so question 3. So this is a name this R&B singer. So his debut album From the Bottom to the Top was released in 2000 and included hits I Like It and Crazy Things I Do for Love. Don't do this.
No.
Yes, you've interviewed him a couple of times.
Have I?
Yes.
Crazy.
2 of the hits I Like It.
It's not Music Soul Child.
Mm-mm. Crazy Things I Do for Love.
It's not John B.
No.
But it's in that territory, right?
Bro, you did this last time.
Who is it?
It's Sammy.
Let me tell you about Sammy, okay? Sammy is my motherfucking bro. And I gotta say it like that because verses, I
Mhm.
was there. And I have to clear some things up with verses. Jeremiah did not sound as bad as y'all heard. The
Okay.
sound of the feed was horrible. Omarion sounded like he sounded. And Ray, shout out to my boy Ray J as well. He sounded like he sounded until my baby's born. One wish, one wish, one wish. Um,
But he's turning that around. He is making a coin.
he needs to give us music when the time is right. Because Ray drops music, brother Sammy. I'm sorry. I just the thing is with Sammy. Sammy has so many amazing projects, like
Yes.
Insomnia. He's got this latest one that's called Satin Sheets. That if you guys have not checked it out, please, please, please check it out. He is definitely when we talk about the category of, and now I've got the damn album covers in my head, right? As we're talking
Yes.
about him, is one of those. He is an R&B legend. There's no question about that. He is one of the kings of R&B, and it's such an honor to know guys like him, Luke James,
Mhm.
Tank, Avant, Elijah Blake, who I just saw just a few weeks ago. I have to get him on a record some one of these days. If I come out with a deluxe or a
Put it
second
out
album, I'm putting it out there. But these guys are tone stiff. You know what I'm
there.
saying? Just R&B, male R&B to its fullest extent. Maurice Moore, uh, male R&B, but Maurice is so.
I gotta
Um,
look that up. I haven't heard of Maurice, so I gotta check him out.
you know where he's from? He's from Ottawa.
Are you serious? Oh my
Yes,
god.
he's
Okay,
from
so
Ottawa, and
that's at the top of my list now.
yeah, he's amazing. Dana Vaughns, amazing. Princeton Perez, amazing. Like R&B is such in a good space, but those guys right there, they're so beyond R&B, but they do it and they deliver in such a great way. But yeah, I mean, y'all got to see Sammy perform live. Like if you haven't,
Listen. Okay, so anybody that knows me knows that I love Sammy. So one time he came to my city and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to go." So I got two of my friends and I'm like, please come with me. We're gonna go see Sammy perform at this club or whatever. It was like this person's birthday. So we go to the club and we get there before the performance. I get my drink and I'm excited because I'm like, I'm finally gonna see him perform live.
Right.
But it was a mess though, because they didn't even really announce that he was coming. I turn around, I see some guy just brush past me, and my friend's like, "Is that Sammy?" I was like, "What the hell?" So then he gets on stage and he starts singing, but they messed up his sound.
I hate that.
So then he was not happy about that. So he was like, "Okay, when you guys fix the sound, I'm gonna come back on stage and I'll perform."
Hmm.
Of
He
course, they
doesn't
didn't,
play the sound.
which he shouldn't, right?
No.
So, of course, they did not fix the sound, so he never came back on stage because we were waiting, because that's the only reason why we went, and
Right.
so, yeah, never got to see him perform.
I'm just honestly so proud of him and the way and the reason why I just have to take a moment to really give him his flowers because being an independent artist, from being signed and then go through the things that you have gone through in this industry, to have management take and steal from you and to not have, and then you get a good manager. Shout outs to his manager Skino, who's a great brother. I mean, there is not really many great managers out there
Mhm.
that are very honest to a T and will not fuck their artists over. And I have to say it like that. But when you are an artist and you can find one, especially in R&B, and there's brotherhood or a sisterhood before there is the business,
Yeah.
you keep that person in your circle. And it doesn't even matter if it's a manager. It can be a publicist. It could be a marketing manager. It could be whomever. It could be your bodyguard. You know what I'm saying? It could be your security, like I said, your security. It can be a dancer. It can be, excuse me, any of those personnel, because you need good people in your circle. And the way that Sammy and Skino work is so dope. Even Tank and Jay Valentine. Shout outs to Jay too.
Yes.
Jay had a retirement.
I know, I'm so happy. It's funny how they're gonna switch
Yes.
positions. So, yeah, no, I'm happy. I have Sammy on my wish list to interview because I'm such a huge
I'll put
fan.
a word in. Sammy's always watching.
But, yeah, because his story is amazing, right? That
Yeah.
everything that he's gone through and just how he conducts himself, because that can make you bitter, it could turn you against everything, but, he stays grounded, he keeps going, and people are starting to recognize his talent again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's super, super dope. So let's go to question 4. This one, yeah, I think you know this one. So, Tank
Yes.
did not sing background, like live background, for the
Mhm.
following artists. Is it A, Aaliyah, B, Brian McKnight, or C, Genuine?
B.
There you
Definitely not Brian McKnight.
go.
And it's so crazy because I feel like I've told you this. I've interviewed Brian McKnight, and it was such an honor because he's so underrated. Like,
Think so?
I don't think people really understand like how dope Brian McKnight is. Yep, some people know his songs, and the reason
Yeah.
why I say some people know his songs because this new generation definitely does it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
people really, when you hear Brian McKnight, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't going to say, "Oh my gosh, Brian McKnight," like that.
Mm.
But he's had hits. Brian McKnight is still touring. Like, I need y'all to like really catch up on like his iconicness of what he's done. Like, oh my
And
gosh,
his voice like hasn't changed because he was just on the Martin reunion show.
was he?
I'm spilling it, so if you did not see it, I'm so sorry.
I don't
Search
watch. I
for
don't watch anything, so you can tell me everything. I know everybody who's probably watching probably saw it or will see it at some point. So yeah, so spill everything with me.
Yeah, so sorry, I gotta just say it because so they
Oh,
were
that's great.
going down memory lane and they were picking like different parts of different episodes that people like.
Oh, yeah, he was on one.
Yes, when
Oh,
Martin proposed to Gina, and then he had Brian McKnight come out and sing, and then Brian actually showed up at the reunion and he sang that same song, and it was just a beautiful moment because his voice is amazing, of course. So it
so,
was good to see
so
him.
gold. It is so gold.
Yeah.
I just need for more people to really tap into the previous catalog of some of these amazing, great R&B soul acts, male, female group, uh, just whatever. Get into it.
And even his son, Brian McKnight Jr.,
Yeah,
his music is super dope too. So if you guys didn't know, his son is doing his thing. So you could definitely follow him on social media. Like he puts out good music too. And his voice is also amazing. So yes.
it is. And Party, who did Stay Warm and Rounds, actually is doing some work with his son.
Oh wow.
So they're cooking. They're cooking over there.
So question 5. This one's a little tricky. This female R&B singer also works as a mortician. Is it Ari Lennox, B. Jasmine Sullivan, C. Monica, or D. Janae Eiko?
Monica.
Yes, that's right.
And when I found that out, and she posted that, I was like,
You would never think.
I could not. I could not. But I love Monica.
Mhm.
And I did get a chance to interview her. One of the many one on one interviews, having an independent platform, but being able to interview her on tour. You
Wow.
know, because she, if you go through all the ones interviews that she did during Code Red, she did a lot of media outlets that we're familiar with, but not too many one-on-ones.
Mhm.
I was blessed with that opportunity, and she's so amazing. R&B is such in a good space, and you don't have to box yourself in. Brittany B, who goes by BB now, Gogo Marl, a good friend of mine from Philly and stuff like that, and
She's amazing, yeah.
she's working with
I was
Harmony.
happy she got her moment at the BET Awards.
Yes. Yeah, her and Harmony have been working for some time for that moment to happen. And even when you think about Harmony Samuels and his stuff, I gotta give my bro like his flowers too,
Mm.
because he's worked with Janet Jackson. He's worked with Destiny's Child. He's worked with countless of artists. He's worked with Seven Streeter, who is my absolute, y'all know
Yeah,
that
that
is
is your homegirl.
that's my
We know.
heart. Like she's one of the sweetest individuals that I've met. And what's crazy is Seven has been really working so, like, she worked so hard on that album. And when you think about the time, and I know I'm like getting long-winded as I always do, R&B projects take time.
Yeah.
There's demand, and let's actually talk about this because I want to hear your thoughts on this. There's so much like demand for our, like, for favorite artists to always drop after they just dropped the whole damn project last year. It's good that the demand is there, but y'all not sitting with these projects enough. Like, it takes money to do these projects, shoots, haircuts,
I'd
editing.
rather the artist take time and live life and experience some stuff and then give me an album. Like
Wow.
I will wait if that means that they're taking their time and coming up with great content. Because I feel sometimes when artists keep throwing out album after album after album, it sounds repetitive. Like
Very.
there's nothing new, and they don't even feel connected really to their song, even though they're singing the crap out of it. It just
Yep.
there's a difference I find. Like for example, if we talk back with Sammy, like Insomnia is one of my favorites.
That's
Like
one of the best.
I love that whole entire body of work, but that is because that is exactly what he was going through at that point in his life. And
Yeah.
that album, like, I really wish that it was, like, an actual album and that it was considered for some type of awards and stuff, 'cause it's to me, it's that good, you
Oh my
know?
god. Yeah. It
So, yeah,
definitely
I want my artists to go live their lives and then give me give me a follow-up.
and that's exactly what Seven does, and like a Luke James and a Marsha Ambrose and a Elvana and a Bridget Kelly. Bridget don't get enough credit for how bomb she is as an
Mhm.
artist, but y'all gotta go check out Reality Bites as well too. Like I'm giving y'all like some nugget albums to check out. Check out every damn album from Eric Bellinger, my boy. Like these are albums
And that's
that
like 30 some odd albums that you're checking out, 'cause Eric be giving us some music all the
he
time.
would. He's so consistent with it. And even in the live performances, like, man, he gonna give you a show.
And
Him
he
and
seems
Sammy
like he just
actually
has,
just
like,
did
a
a
fun
tour.
personality too.
Yeah. Fun personality. He's always been super solid. Like as busy as he is,
Mhm.
always been solid. We've always just had that type of friendship. Like, look, he can text me 2 weeks after the day. In fact, that I text him, he gonna circle back. All right, if he doesn't, like, it's nothing but a word to say, "Yo, what's up? How you doing? How's the family? Look, congratulations on the project. I'll see you at the LA show because you just when there's good art, you got to give people their flowers."
Mhm. Okay, so let's do our last trivia question before we wrap it up. So, okay, so he is a male R&B singer. He was on American Idol, and he's from Louisiana, and he uses the four-leaf clover as his symbol.
And he's also a David Brown as well. And you've never heard me say my actual birth name, but David Duane is my name. It's just that Brown part. But
Don't
don't
use
do
that.
that. Don't do that. Lucky Day as well. You like him too in the R&B space. Giveon too. I don't care if people want to classify Giveon as like pop and stuff like that. Whatever. Talented brothers, extremely talented, and they work extremely hard. In their stage presence is man.
And Lucky Day's latest album, like, I can't get enough of it. It's an
You
amazing
know what's crazy? I haven't heard it yet.
Really, you're gonna like it.
There's a lot of music that I have not heard because as I'm in my space of songwriting, I
Mhm.
don't want to hear too many melodies and I don't want to repeat melodies even of my own. So I try to not, well, I don't listen to music. I barely even listen to Beyonce Break My Soul. But I mean, it's like, it's Beyonce. I only heard one song off of Drake's new project. I don't know anything about anything else. I've only heard Chloe Surprise because, like, how can you not listen to Chloe? Like, Surprise.
No, but that's fair. It makes sense, especially when you're in the midst of creating your own work of art. So that makes a lot of sense. But when you do get around to it, that is definitely an album that you're gonna enjoy.
Oh
So
my gosh, yeah.
so check it out because ever since it came out, like I can't get enough of it. I listen to it all the time. So it's definitely still in rotation. So you're gonna let us know because July 21st is coming right around
It
the corner. So
is.
let us know what is next, what we can look forward to. Like, is there more visualizers that's happening? Another single release? What should we be looking out for before we go into the album?
Yes. So stay tuned to social media. Instagram, David Duane. Twitter is D Duane Official. Facebook is David Duane Official. Just stay tuned to socials. Definitely follow me on Twitter. Twitter's like my favorite. I love Instagram, Facebook. I love them over there. They're so like phenomenal because I get a chance to work with these social media platforms as well too, which is so freaking dope.
Mhm.
But I would just say stay tuned because there's a lot going on that I cannot speak on yet that will really excite people. There's definitely more videos. So I can say the songs that you see me constantly promote, there
Okay.
are chances that you will see videos for those.
Okay.
And there is a possibility of other ones that you may see other content for as well. So there's tons where it came from. This album will be pushed for um for some time. I'm just looking forward to continuing to push this album, connect with people, and release merch and vinyls and cassette tapes. Those are available, and CDs and stuff like that, hard CDs, because I come from an era where those things are just so important to have.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, everything else, I I'm just like, stay tuned.
Well, I'm excited.
And
So,
on the air with David Duane will be back, for the record. I just want to set the record straight, because
okay.
I know everybody saw the trend. Like, I wouldn't say that it was a transition, but I would see people saw a introduction, a
Okay.
formal introduction happen, and people were like, "Wait a minute!" So, no more interviews. No, 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 no. On air with David Duane is definitely coming back full effect. It's a created such platforms that deserve what it deserves in its right timing. And that's key. You deserve what you deserve in the right timing, divine timing, God's timing. There's so many times where people even say, and I was just talking about this too, this is going to be my last point. People talk about overnight success, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's an overstatement. It's overly said. It's not true at all. Even those people who were, quote, overnight sensations, there was work. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of work. There was pain, highs, lows, a lot of stuff that happened. So I don't believe in overnight success. So anybody that's watching, I say, stay encouraged, dream on, see all your dreams through. Anything conceivable is possible. God brought us together in this conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so grateful for
Amen.
your support, because when I go live, you are one person who I can count on to constantly be there. And if I don't see you, I'll be like, you know what? To be honest, we can end the live, because I don't see, certain key people. Like, it's always you, like Kiana, and then what's the one is like, I forget what his damn name is, but he just be doing too damn much. He know who he is if he watches like that, but it's just the consistency. So dream on, people, and continue to dream. And congratulations to you for everything that you've been doing in this amazing platform. And trust me, I'm going to put in a few words to a few of my friends so we can get this podcast popping, because you really are a true fan of R&B. It shows, and even in some of the songs that you said stood out to you on the project. So I appreciate that. Sammy, coming your way, and I would have a couple people reach out your way, and I'll even connect you with some people too, so
Oh,
that you can even grow. Yeah, for sure, so that you can even grow. Like, listen, if I would not have gotten to where I was if people did not connect and believe in me, and I believe in you, and that's what life is about. Building together and helping one another. We on this earth together, and we only live this life on earth once.
no, I
All the way
really
through.
appreciate that because the first time I saw or met David Duane is because I was in a boot camp with a shout out to Monique Jackson.
Yeah.
She is a publicist out in LA, and she does amazing things. I love her work and the way that she thinks about things. It's really outside the box and to really help the artist. So she's someone that I looked up to. I did her boot camp and got some people to come on to talk to us. And David Duane was one of the many people that she got. And then as soon as he introduced himself and listed all the things that he was doing, I was just like, this is who I need to follow. He has
Yeah.
the blueprint. So I got to follow him. And I've been following you ever since, supporting you. And you've been so kind and amazing. And I love watching your interviews. So I'm happy
You
that
so much.
everything's going to come back. And also to look out for all of his social medias because he does like industry conversations. So that's where you get
Oh,
free game.
That's coming back soon.
Okay.
My a friend of mine, Lauren, who is doing amazing things with TMZ and just amazing things as overall. Like shout outs to her, and even shout outs to like Gia Peppers, Danielle
Oh
Young,
my gosh. Yeah.
um, Brandy that works at Essence, my friend, and there's so many women that I could just shout outs, but shout outs to all the ladies, shout outs to Raylan, shout outs to Buzzy Baker. I mean, like I'm like naming incredible people like Angie
Doing
from
amazing things.
Judith, her sister. Um, oh my gosh, like so many people that I'm just going to stop shouting people's names out. It's going to get ridiculous. But there's just so much amazingness that is happening in this life right now that we just have to be so grateful for these opportunities. Even Monique as well too. Like she's incredible. Her client is saying so. I'm actually text her and say, hey, we need in Ebony as well to be like, yeah, we got to make that happen. We got to make that happen.
No, definitely. So yeah, I'm always there to support. I cannot wait. Everybody, July 21st is the date to get this album. Unapologetic Blonde is coming out. I'm super excited. I can't wait. I didn't even know there was merch coming out, so I will definitely stay tuned because much for giving me this interview. Thank you for being vulnerable and opening up and letting us know about the album and all the stuff that you've been going through, and I'm so happy that you stuck to it and that this album is coming out. And of course, I know there's so much more that's coming from you, so much more greatness, and I can't wait to continue to watch you grow and
Yeah,
support you along the way. So congratulations on everything.
thank you. And the struggle wasn't to the greatness, but to what's to come, I don't know. But
But it
stay
is gonna be
tuned.
great.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be
it's gonna be greatness. And I'm so thankful for your support. So thank you again.
No, of course. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody who is listening and watching. This is the Total R&B podcast. We are a bi-weekly podcast. You can follow me on social media at Lorena.xo on Instagram, and we will be back in 2 weeks with another interview.
Make sure you guys follow Lorena. Stop playing.